When someone notices that you're not okay, most of the time they'll ask you, what is wrong? And more often than not, the answer is always, I'm just tired. Maybe I'll get some rest and I'll be okay. But that tiredness is not from lack of sleep. It is the exhaustion of carrying an invisible war within you. You know, you know what keeps you stuck. You can name the patterns. You can name the habits, the wounds, the fears. I mean, awareness is not the issue here. The issue is the paralysis between knowing and doing. And that paralysis becomes a silent prison. You know, psychologically, it is called cognitive emotional dissonance. I had talked about it. The mind knows better, but the body and emotions resist change. Spiritually, it is the soul signaling that misalignment has reached a breaking point. When immobility persists, it creates an inner fire that consumes from within. First comes anger, and you start being angry at yourself for not moving. Then you be angry at life for feeling unfair. And then lastly, you finish by being angry at others for not understanding. Secondly, comes guilt. You now start having shame for not being stronger, for wasting time, for repeating cycles you promised to break. Then finally comes emptiness. A numbness where even anger loses its heat. Leaving you hollow, moving through life like a shadow. And yet, on the outside, you smile, you function, you carry the mask, the mask of I'm tired. When you lower your gaze and say I'm tired, it is not a lie. It is also not the whole truth. It is a socially acceptable way to package the chaos inside. Because to admit the depth of your war feels like admitting defeat. It feels like confessing that your soul is losing ground. But the irony is this. Silence doesn't heal defeat. It deepens it. So pretending everything is fine robs the soul of the oxygen it needs to breathe again. The defeat of the soul is not the inability to rise, but the refusal to express and confront the war within. True defeat is not falling into anger. It is not falling into guilt or even emptiness. It is allowing them to suffocate you without seeking light. Growth begins when you stop equating honesty with weakness. Saying I'm at war with myself is not defeat. It is the first declaration of courage. The step towards reclaiming ground. In short, the defeat of the soul is not in the pain you carry, but in the silence you cloak it with. You are not defeated because you feel stuck. You're not defeated because you feel angry, guilty, or even empty. You are defeated only when you believe you must hide that truth to appear strong. Real strength is not the mask. It is the courage to unmask. My people, heal. Heal.